psychics around the world, and he's seeing that predictions in Turkish, Armenian, Malaysian, Thai, and independently, all of them independent of one another, are all seeing an upcoming world-changing event, right? So he sat up and took notice, and I think that's what spawned that conversation. And because you and I, got together in the very beginning, talking about also some event that was going to take place that was going to change the trajectory of the timeline, it was for me like full circle, fully relevant to what's going on. We had the remote viewers for the event that was going to happen. Here's some of the diagrams that we were presented. We have a team of people over here in Europe that are high level remote viewers as well, and they were putting that information after we said, look into this. At first they were like standoffish. Now this must be a hoax, but they suddenly saw that there really was something to this. And so what it means is that and I think that what interests me about this is how can we use this information to, like, okay, nobody's really, giving us a real roadmap and telling us exactly what it will be. How can we verify it, and where can we find, the confirmation, let's just say, from the universe that something like this is going to happen? And then I had to, I don't know, chuckle or laugh is the wrong word here. Actually, it's pretty serious. I want to share this with you because last night I get another email or a message, let's say, from a group I've been kind of following peripherally. We kind of talked about them months ago, like a year ago. They were called We Are Sovereign. And there's a guy who came forward in a group that was calling himself Gideon, and he was saying that he had information from white hat whistleblowers about a software that was about digital currency that was going to classify each individual according to a certain status. And then there was going to be a financial reset, and they were going to implement this system. And
full disclosure here, folks, I do not trust this group. I'm not saying that there isn't some very accurate information in there, but I do not trust this group. So that's just a full disclosure on my part.
Yeah, and I think we both kind of came to the conclusion when we invited them to come forward and talk about it, they didn't take the invitation. So it was like, okay, look, the olive branch is there. But I was following their information because I was interested to see where they were going to, like, I was looking for clues on where they were incorrect. What could I blatantly find in their intel? And so, the months have gone by, and suddenly this intel drop comes from them, and it's talking about a meeting that Gideon was at, which, and more or less you could say that it was probably with the Guardians of the Looking Glass, if that group existed ever, and their technology. And what he began to talk about in this intel drop, in this conversation he was having, it matched 100 Pro what was being talked about by Cliff High, right, and Dick Allgaier. So I looked at it a little more closely, and there's a few passages. I want to read you a couple of things here because it's totally like on par with what's going on in the universe right now. He says, there was a timeline of the Cabal was revealed to me, and collapse dates were set. And there were some variables, and he wanted to clarify that because, and this is what you said earlier, the future is not set in stone. We know that. Even though that these things are there, they're out there, we have to maintain the understanding and the knowledge that nothing is set in stone and that we can affect that. This is, I think, one of the most important things when you're digging into this information to understand. And he goes on to say, the Cabal wants to trick people into this financial system, and out by 2025 or later, but they're going to sneak it in so that you won't even notice it happening until it's suddenly upon you. And then he was shown with some device, a looking glass type device. He was shown the timeline that was reading off this device, and he describes it as follows. I saw a devastating event that is going to happen this winter in the Northern Hemisphere. It is man-made. It involves a complex series of events initiated by the Cabal. First, there will be various staged cyber attacks. then there will be power outages and ultimately the meltdowns of numerous nuclear sites, mostly in the United States. This will lead to toxic radioactive fallout passing over much of the US and reaching Europe.
You deserve the truth, but big tech does not want you to hear it. So we built our own Inspired platform on theinspiredchannel.com. To watch the full video and more, just click the link in the video description or the pinned comment.